everybody, I'm Steph Hodge with BoardGameGeek here with Al from Deepwater Games, and today we get to look at Crystallo. Crystallo?
Crystallo.
Crystallo. So
Yes,
tell
we
me, how,
do.
how did this game come to be? I see in BGG that it's a first-time designer named Liberty. So can you tell us how you found this game and, what attracted you to it?
So I won't be able to tell you a lot about that actually, because Crystallo has a really interesting background. Crystallo was not originally a Deepwater Games title. We were not part of the development or anything. In fact, Crystallo had a fully funded Kickstarter and everything. And then at like the beginning of the year, like I don't know the exact reasons why, but the game started looking for a new home. And Deepwater Games went ahead and grabbed it a few months ago. If you're familiar with Deepwater stuff, yeah, grabbed it, absolutely. If you're familiar with Deepwater stuff, we as a company are firm believer in solo player modes. Most of our games have some sort of solo player built in, and the only time that it doesn't really happen is if it's like literally impossible for the game. For example, Monstrosity will not have a solo player mode, but welcome to New Las Vegas, Realm of Sand, Sovereign Skies has a solo player mode. Like almost everything of ours has a solo player mode. So when we saw that Crystallo needed a new home, and we were in a position to go ahead and adopt it, we were like, yes, we would love to add a solo player game to our catalog, 110%.
Oh, that's really exciting.
Right now,
tell me a little bit about the game. All I see are these beautiful colors, so I'm very excited.
I know, it's very, very pretty. It's also very, very tempting for the goblin in me to just like chomp the forbidden candies. But so what you see here is you've gone ahead and set up the 6 creatures that have been captured by the black dragon. All right. So we have 6 different beautifully illustrated fantasy creatures that come in the game. Some of them are like pretty expected. All right. So for example, the unicorn and the phoenix. These are fantasy archetypes that we're all used to. But you see some cool stuff too, like the seahorse is our blue creature over here, our dark blue creature. And then we also have the ice wolf and the firefox. The firefox is personally one of my favorites. It's so pretty. But
all so these creatures I love.
They've all been trapped. So it is our responsibility to dig through the cavern and hopefully save all of them. Now, Crystallo is played in 2 phases. In the first phase, we're going to explore the cavern and attempt to unlock all 3 of the curses that have been placed on each of the creatures, all right? And if you manage to release all 6 creatures before the deck runs out, you get to take on the black dragon. And during the black dragon, you are going to try to seal it using those same crystals that you just released the creatures from. So we're going to turn that power against the black dragon. Hopefully, it's not guaranteed you'll get to the black dragon. This is definitely a challenging game meant for you to take on quite a few times. In the back of the rule book, you'll even find an adventure log where it lets you jot down how you did each game and how many points you accumulated. So there's a lot of encouragement to go ahead and try to do better every single time you play. And there's like actual numbers behind it. And as a number cruncher, I really, really enjoy that, especially in a solo player game. You know, it's nice to have other things that are fueling the competitiveness when you don't have other players there at the table against you.
No, for sure.
Now, you have out there on the table the little key card. It's dual-sided. So what's going to happen is over the course of the game, you're going to reveal a card off of the top of the deck. And every single card off of the top of the deck is, for starters, going to have some mixture of crystals and orbs on the corners, all right? And some of them, 9 of them in particular, are going to have items in the center as well. Now, the items are going to help you do better against the black dragon, or they're going to score you more points for the end of the game. There are 3 different sets of them as articulated on the back of the card. Some of them are riches, some of them are magic, and some of them are battle. And if you get the full trio of a particular kind, it's going to unlock something special, right? But what's really, really important are the corners of these cards. All right. So in the corners, you're going to see orbs. These orbs are going to match our 6 creatures. And then you're also going to see crystals in the corners. The crystals are going to pop up in purple, orange, and red. And the crystals are also going to have a different kind of quantity to them. So you'll notice some of them have 1 shard, some of them have 2 shards, and some of them have 3 shards. These are important because over the course of the game, the way that you're actually going to untrap the creatures is by creating particular patterns using these crystals. So the other side of your key is going to be pretty gosh darn important. It's going to show you the 3 different patterns that you can make over the course of the game. So one of the trios that you can make is same color and same shape. You can do same shape but different, or same color but the different shapes. So the full set of 3. You can do a different color but they're all the same shape, or they all have to be unique. So one of each color and one of each shape, respectively. All right. So what's going to happen is every single round or every single game, you're going to go ahead and shuffle up this cavern deck, and you're going to set aside 9 cards. And it looks like you've got those off to the left right there already. Those are set aside for the black dragon and will be used if you manage to release all 6 of the creatures as we explore the cavern. So let's go ahead and play some rounds. What you're going to do is go ahead and take the top card off of the deck, flip it over, and put it right in the middle of our cavern here. All right, now every single card will have between 3 and 4 different designs on it. It'll always have at least 1 crystal and at least 1, like at least 1 shard and at least 1 little orb. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and grab another card off of the deck. You're going to take a good look at it. And then what's going to happen is you are going to be layering cards on top of each other in order to create like a little quadrant, a little square that involves one of these patterns and an orb. So for example, it's going to be a little challenging for me to do it in my hands, but I know that I can make it happen. So for example, if I had this on the center of my board as my second card, I could go ahead and layer them like this, right? What you're going to have to do is put 1 crystal next to another. And that's the only placement rule. So you can kind of make it like pretty wonky. They don't have to overlap. So I could put it down for like this, for example. And then on a future turn, for example, if I drew this card right here, let's do the easiest way to hold this out. So right here, if I drew this card right here, I could put it right here. So now I have a little quadrant that involves an orb and one of the patterns I described. It has a 1 red, a 2 red, and a 3 red, right? So what would happen then is you would take the color of that orb. So this is a blue one from the Ice Wolf. I would take one of those crystals off of the Ice Wolf and put it on that orb location up here. All right. And then we've officially unlocked one of the 3 pieces for the Ice Wolf. And then you're going to keep expanding the board. So you've done right here, you've gone ahead and placed a 1 crystal, a 1 red, and a 2 red. And you've got yourself set up to where if you ever see a 3 red, you can place it in the corner and you would unlock the Ice Wolf. Or you might grow the cavern in a different direction. So let's take a look at your next card here off of the very, very top. All right, so look at that. That is a 3 red and a 3 red. Now you can set yourself up to stack cards as much as you want. So for example, if you were interested in doing it, you could go ahead and place that card so that that 3 red is bumped right underneath the other 3 red on your map. So yeah, you could do it like that. And then in the future, if you ever get another 3 red, you can, next to an orb, you've got another spot right there in the center. So let's flip over one more card. Let's take a peek here.
Is
We're
it
looking
possible
for 2 reds
if
and
you're
3 reds.
Is it possible if you're really great at this game to unlock 2 things at once?
Yes, I've done it once. I've done it once ever, but it is possible and it feels so good. It's really difficult to feel more powerful than when you unlock 2 things in 1 turn. And when you're placing things, really the only requirement is that you can't place a card on top of a crystal that's on the board, right? It would be a little challenging in the first place. You need to keep those crystals out and about. So with this one, we have a 1 yellow, 1 orange, and a 1 purple. So we could go ahead and place that 1 orange next to the 2 orange, and then we're prepared if we ever see a 3 orange pop up. And you're going to keep flipping cards over and just continuing to grow this cavern. Now, the ones with items on them are really interesting. If you want to unlock the item, you have to get both of the orbs on the card. So we would have to get the orange orb in one corner and the blue orb in the other. And if we ever do that, we get that item. So these are going to be cards that you're going to want to prioritize working around, and you're never going to want to cover up the orbs in the corner, because the second you do that, you've lost that item permanently. Now, this one has a 2 red over there. So if we pull everything down a little bit, Crystallo, I'm going to warn everybody, Crystallo does need a pretty hefty play space, because if we pull your whole board down a little bit, we can place that and flip the card over. We can place that 2 red and that 1, or the 2 red and the orange orb. If you place the 2 red over that little blue orb, you'll have a trio, a quadrant. So you've got the blue orb above the 3 red. If you bring the 2 red down over the card, I know this is a complex one. There we go. So you can see right there, we have a full quadrant. So now we would get to take a shard off of the Phoenix, put it on that card. Is that a fire? So it's going to be the color of the orb in that quadrant. So you can see in that little quadrant. Yeah. So that we would take that Phoenix crystal and put it right there over that orb. So now we can never stack another card over that space. But we've officially helped start unlocking the Phoenix. We're also halfway towards earning that item.
Right.
Because if we ever do the blue orb in the other corner.
Sorry.
What was that?
No, I was going to say, can we overlay the crystals used to get that orange gem?
No, we can't put a card over that corner ever again. Once the shard is on the table, you can't stack cards on top of shards. So it kind of like creates a dead zone almost. Like now we'll never be able to place anything over that space.
On those
so you've also got to plan ahead in that regard. Yep. Like we can still cover up the other corner if it became the right decision, but chances are it wouldn't be, because we want that item. The items are a big part of having a high score and being fit to take on the dragon by the end of it. Now, if we jump ahead a little bit, because we've gotten to see what exploring the cavern looks like and everything, if we play pretend and we've unlocked all of the creatures, let's talk about what taking on the dragon looks like. All right. So we can go ahead and wipe all of this board, and we're gonna go ahead and jump over to the dragon now, because I want to let people know, because this is a little bit different, right? And we're not going to be able to play a full game. We're already 15 minutes into the stream, but we can take a look at what fighting the dragon looks like. You only get to this stage if you unlock all 18 of those crystals, if you unlock all of the 6 creatures. So you've got that deck of 9 cards that we set aside. So if you get to take on the dragon, you're going to go ahead and grab 1 crystal of every single color. Because what you need to do is you need to unlock 1 of each color, and that will trap the dragon. We're using the black dragon's same magic against him. So we'll take 1 of each color, and then you've got your 9 cards that you set aside at the beginning of the game. Now, here's one thing to keep in mind. If in the first phase, you manage to unlock all 6 creatures and you have cards left in the deck, you get to take those with you when you fight the dragon. So the earlier that you manage to release the creatures, the more powerful you will be against the black dragon as well. So we'll go ahead and flip those black dragon cards over and get them out on display. And what we want to do here is we want to place crystals onto the dragon's board, not take them off. All right. So no, vice versa. We're taking them off. You'll place all 6 of those crystals onto the black dragon now. We're going to be trying to reverse all of this magic. Now, that deck of 9 cards, plus whatever you manage to carry over from the first round, you're going to spread those out face up in front of you. Because these are the only cards that you get to place in attempts to go ahead and defeat the dragon. So you get to know what those cards are, and you get to play them in whatever order you want. But this is all you have. So the first thing we're going to want to do is take a look at the colors in the corners and make sure that we actually have all 6 of them available. So we definitely have, we have purple, we have light blue, we have the unicorn. Do we have all colors available to us in the first place? We don't have, we have orange. It doesn't look like we have a dark blue one. Am I wrong? Or do we have one?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. All right. The purple and the dark blue are a little close for me. So I wanted to make sure that we have all 6 colors available in this little deck here. All right, excellent. So now we're going to place cards one by one. And what we're trying to do is, like I mentioned, make a quadrant and unlock each of those 6 pieces off of the dragon. So let's take a look at what we've got for options here. This part is very challenging. I have managed to defeat the dragon once in my entire life. For context, we have some players in the office who have never made it to the dragon. All right, so let's take a look here. So we definitely have, we have the ability to do a trio of 3s. Do we have a way to double dip them? So we have 1 red set of 3s. We have an orange set of 3, and we have a purple set of 3. So we won't have the ability to double dip because we've got no 3s outside of that. And that is fine and dandy. We have a lot of 2s here, including a lot of red 2s. So if you want to take that riches card that's in the very, very center, the one that in the center of the selection, let's go ahead and use that as our starter piece here. Place that in the center of the board, and that'll be the start of our cavern as we fight against the dragon. Yay! All right, so let's go ahead and grab, we've got the 4th card from the right over there that has a, does that have a 2 red or a 3 red? That has a 3 red. All right, one more card over to the right, hopping over to the opposite side. Yeah, there we go, to the left. I'm sorry. So let's go ahead and take that one, and we can go ahead and flip it over and place it on the bottom of the cavern there, a 180. Let's do a full 180 on that one. So over one more, 180 from the original positioning, sorry. Oh, no, I meant like that'll work right there. Absolutely. Do we have a 1 red? Oh, there's no 1 red in the mix. Nope, that trio isn't going to work right there. Can we flip that card a full 180? Yeah, and then, yep, there we go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Because we've got a lot of 2 reds to work with. So now we can take one of the 2 reds on the left-hand side that we still have up for grabs. Yeah, if we go ahead and twist that around, we can go ahead and make our first quadrant that involves, okay, so that's going to release the purple gem off of the dragon. Yep, and we can take that off of the sheet and we can put that into the quadrant. It's still gonna have to go on there because you can't overlap the cards. All right, oh, no, it'll go on the one that's lower, that's part of the quadrant. Yeah, perfect, because that's the full square right there. There we go. So now we can take, now we can go ahead. I don't think that this layout is going to let us get everything, unfortunately, because there's so many purples in this set. So many purples in this set.
But could you take the card with the 2 red and then overlay with the light blue orb? And so you have another pattern right there?
Let's go ahead and do that and show everybody how that would work.
I'm seeing it.
So you can see how you can repeatedly build off of kind of the same exact design if you've got the resources for it. And I'll release the blue one right there. Perfecto. So we also have, we could release the unicorn. It looks like we have 2 orange and 3 orange available. So if we take the card that's exactly what I was thinking. If we go ahead and kind of nudge that right under the purple 1 or an orange 1. Yeah, there we go. We could, nope, we want it side by side because we're going to need to get that yellow circle in the same quadrant if we want to be able to unleash. So if you pull it There we go. That's a good place fit because now we can grab the. Is there a 3 orange? There was no 3 orange to be had.
We might.
Man, our options
It's on
were
the
pretty
board.
limited. Yeah,
it's on the board
unfortunately,
already.
we just you're kind of So we still have
you could
that's
do the
the
1
only
and
3
2
orange that we
orange
have available.
Yeah,
Because
you
we
could do
got
the
the
1
2
and 2
purple.
orange. So tell me a little bit about these cards. Are these special cards, or do we just shuffle the whole deck and take a number out at the beginning of the game? So are these
At the beginning of the
randomized,
game,
these...
you shuffle up the deck and you take away 9 cards. Absolutely. Now, if you don't have available all 6 different color orbs, then there's a rule where you get to cycle cards out until you do. The game does not like set you up for failure or anything like that.
Okay.
It definitely wants you to have the opportunities to succeed. But at the end of the day, you only potentially have 9 cards to make 6 full quadrants happen. That's devastatingly
and whatever cards
difficult.
you can bring over. So hopefully you can bring over a whole bunch from before, and then you won't have 9 cards.
And
like
the game
20
knows
cards.
that it is challenging. If you go into the back of the book to see like how many points you're going to accumulate, at the end of the game, it has a list of like titles that you're going to earn based off of what you did over the course of the game. So for example, if you failed to free the creatures, you receive the title of commoner. If you freed all the creatures, but you failed to trap the dragon, you receive the title of liberator. The best I've ever done is trapping the dragon with literally no cards remaining, and you get vanquisher. If you have 1 card remaining, you're a knight. 2 cards remaining, you're a hero. And 3 cards remaining, and you're a champion. If you have more than 3 cards left when you beat the dragon, like, you should join Mensa.
Like, you're legendary at that point.
Ridiculously good. Yes, exactly. You were a legendary savior of creatures at that point. And then you'll also earn points based off of how many riches you ended the game with. And then there's a really cool scoring table in the back of the book, depending on how rich you were and depending on what a great vanquisher you were by the end of the game. That's going to determine your final score. So we've started tracking everyone's scores in the office as they play so that we can kind of pit ourselves against each other and everything too. But mostly for me, it's just a roadmap to see if I'm doing better. And not so much. This game is challenging. I love it. I want that out of a 1-player experience because you want a reason to come back and play it again, you know? And I think that Crystallo gives you a lot of reasons to do that. Also, excellent. Why would you want to let the 6 cute creatures stay trapped?
Well, you don't. That's for sure.
No.
So tell us how we can get this game.
Now, Crystallo is not available for order quite yet. It will be available on oximedia.com before the holiday season. Crystallo had a Kickstarter that had not been fulfilled when we picked the game up. So right now, our priority, first and foremost, is, of course, finishing Kickstarter fulfillment. Pretty much everything domestic is done. Of course, there are hiccups. The Postal Service during COVID has been a thing. So we're still working on that. True. But for the most part, domestic is done and international stuff has started kicking out. But we very, very, very much are dedicated to getting the Kickstarter done before we go ahead and move on to letting people go ahead and pick it up outside of the Kickstarter. So that'll be on oximedia.com very soon, but not right this second. Definitely in time for the holiday season.
So it seems perfect for any solo gamer out there. I'm definitely interested, if not only for the colors, but for the puzzle aspect of it. It seems really cool. So
I'm a big puzzle fan too. Yeah, that is one of the most appealing parts. Bragging rights are good too.
Absolutely. Well, is there anything else? We have just like a minute left. If there's anything else, other news from Deepwater Games that you are excited to talk about, we have just a few minutes.
So if you like small box card games, we also do Claim, which is a 2-player game, and then Claim 2 came out, and that's also a 2-player game, or you can combine them and all of you can fight for the throne in a 3 to 4-player version. But with Claim, we do have the reinforcements as expansions coming out here soon as well. Those are available for pre-order. If you missed it earlier tonight, we did some demos of Monstrosity, which is a great improv drawing game that is totally family safe too, and currently comes with the Cute expansion for free on our website. That's coming out in late October and early November and is also available for pre-order.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Elle, for joining us, and Deep Water Games for showing us Crystallo.
Thanks for having me.